Hello, Honors Algebra 2 Trick students. This is more information about Desmos, and this is specifically going to be about how to use sliders and how to create motion with an image. So first of all, the process of making a slider, you can make lines like, say, here's the line y equals 2x minus 3. That line right there, it just represents, well, that relationship when the x is doubled and subtract 3. But in order to to create a slider, all you have to do is instead of like putting a slope of 2, I could put a slope of, well, x minus 3. And you see how it says, hey, do you want to add a slider? I'm just going to say, yes, I would like you to add a slider. Well, the nice thing about this is that I could move the slider to have the same slope being 2 as my other line. Or I could tell it, just go ahead and change that slope. And it slides and it changes over time. And I could do a number of things here. I could, first of all, make sure it only increases. I could hold down this animation properties or click this animation properties, make sure it only goes in one direction. And if I do that, it goes from that positive 10 slope to a negative 10 slope. I could make it go faster or slower with this slider by changing the speed of it. And now it's going to go really slow comparatively. It's going to go 1/20th of the speed it was going a minute ago. I could speed it up a bunch of times and make it go way faster than it was. And I could also get that back to the previous speed. Now, say if I didn't want this to go from a slope of negative 10 to a slope of 10, what I could do instead is I could click this and say I only wanted this to alternate between a slope of 2 and 3. I could just move back and forth between a slope of 2 and 3. Now, it doesn't just have to be slopes. It can be really anything I want to change. So, for example, if I had a quadratic, I'm going to make it y equals x squared. And I'm going to specifically do this where x is less than or equal to 4. No, I want to do y less than or equal to 4, so it's easier to see where its cutoff is. What I could do is I could also make it doesn't like when I do a slider like this, y equals ax. I'm going to delete that because I just like that I have a slider now. I could go 4 plus a, and I could go ahead and set this up to change what the upper bound is. I could also go ahead and do something like instead, maybe I have instead of controlling the upper bound, maybe I want to go ahead and do a vertical shift of a. And now as I click this, it keeps moving it up and down. I could maybe have also done the x in a shift. I could do it with a different variable, b, and then changed the x's and the y's separately. Just seems kind of weird. I don't know exactly why I'm doing this yet, but I chose to make this motion happen in this way. And so now I pause the B, it's just moving up and down because that's the A. I could make these two depend upon each other. So I could make B no longer its own slidable variable. What I could do is say that it's always the sine value of A. And so now as A changes, the B, which is the horizontal, is now moving back and forth. I can move it back and forth with a larger amplitude if I really like to. So I can choose all of these different functions to affect the position of different things. I could go ahead and take a single circle, x squared plus y squared is less than or equal to 9. And I could say, well, I really wish that it would move to the left by A, and I could really wish that it would move in the Y direction. Let's go parabola minus A squared. So now when I click this, I'm going to get rid of this guy. It's going sideways and it's following a path of parabola. I could instead change this to be really whatever I want in terms of its motion. There's a way to produce a lot of something at once. What you can do for that is you can consider adding a table. And say I wanted to do a bunch of circles, all with a radius of 9. I could do x minus x of the point and y minus a y of a point. And you're going to notice right now it has nothing. But if I put 0, 0 here, it has a center at 0, 0 and a radius of less than or equal to 3. And I could do this with more. Now I have 3, 5. Now I have 13, 2. And 2, 11. And I could just leave them like this or produce a bunch of them. Or I could also make them plus A. And so now when I go ahead and I do my slider, I can move all of them. And so you have the power to connect a whole bunch of things together or produce a lot of things at the same time. And while you're working with your Desmos projects and you're playing around with this, you're going to use your own creativity to make something that makes the most sense for your project and make something really cool.